Adrian Portelli has snapped up these two rundown homes in Bulleen, Melbourne, and is about to launch one of the biggest giveaways in Australian TV history. Welcome to the very first season of My Reno Rules.
Hello, I'm Linton Besser. Welcome to Media Watch. And first tonight, our most beloved of armchair pastimes, watching suburbanites wield power tools in the pursuit of fame, fortune, and in this case, the favour of colourful billionaire Adrian Portelli.
He's one of Australia's youngest billionaires, famous for his love of fast cars and even faster property deals.
Who, as sponsor of Channel 7's My Reno Rules, and the man giving away its prize money, is its undisputed star.
First place will now be competing for $1 million.
Adrian Portelli's partnership with Channel 7 is just his latest in a string of publicity stunts designed to persuade punters to hand over fistfuls of their hard-earned for access to a so-called reward scheme that offers discounts on everyday retail items, but which rates hardly a mention in much of his lotto-style social media marketing.
You want 100 grand?
It's a business model that relies on mass-market publicity, and Australia's media has fallen over itself to oblige, lapping up his supermarket voucher giveaways.
You know, they're calling you Robin Hood now.
Oh, I don't know about that. His demure taste in home decor, his get-richer-quicker raffles for prizes like this home on the Gold Coast.
You better get in quick. The LMCT Plus draw closes in less than 3 hours.
And his yellow Lambo entrance on Nine's The Block, where he splashed millions on the show's properties year after year. The media, in the shadow of the current oil crisis, has also helped to pump up his latest venture, his very own petrol station. Antics like this, no doubt one reason why 7 commissioned an Adrian Portelli-fuelled My Reno Rules, the other being the fact he'd offered to pay for
My very own TV show, My Reno Rules, on Channel 7, is airing tonight.
But the network was also choosing to roll the dice on a business facing a criminal case in South Australia, which just 3 weeks before the show's premiere didn't go its way, with a court finding that Portelli's business was in fact running an illegal, unlicensed lottery, where people were not buying membership to his rewards club, but entries into a raffle.
While entries into the draw were described in promotional material from time to time as free, the reality does not match such description. Purchasers are buying an entry into a draw.
Adrian Portelli has announced his company is appealing the finding. But in the meantime, we've learned it's not his first run-in with gambling regulators. The New South Wales government confirming it investigated his business last year, finding it had twice breached the law. Adrian Portelli has always insisted he is running a membership reward service that should not be regulated as if it were a lottery. Not everyone, including this anti-gambling campaigner, is convinced.
It's a lottery, in any other name. It smells, quacks, walks like a lottery, and it is a lottery.
These concerns don't seem to have dissuaded 7 from riding shotgun in Portelli's Lambo, even if its lawyers insisted on some fine print.
The promotion is not sponsored, endorsed, administered by or otherwise associated with Channel 7.
That's right, 7 isn't promoting the giveaway one little bit.
2 Australian families won't just watch the transformations, they could win one of these fully renovated homes.
With those keen to try their luck, then discovering...
All you have to do is hit the QR code now, grab yourself a package and enjoy the rest of the show.
Yes, you've first got to buy a Portelli package costing up to $500 before you get to go in the free draw. A model that has seen Adrian Portelli float up and up the rich lists, inspiring some less legally refined rivals.
More than 80 companies run on a rewards club model where customers pay a monthly subscription to get free entries into prize draws of cars, houses and cash, often worth millions of dollars. Despite these businesses being run like gambling operations, the industry is almost entirely unregulated.
RS Rewards careered right into the chicanes, having its permit cancelled in New South Wales after 29 breaches of the law last year. 2 weeks ago, Adrian Portelli was asked to account for his business live on air, and this is how it went.
Your business got fined in South Australia. They said that was an unlawful lottery.
You're comparing us to a lottery or a gambling company. If you want to come here and talk on the radio, be my friend.
I appreciate you coming on the radio.
Off.
We asked questions of Seven and Portelli, but sadly both declined to respond. So, for the final word, let's head out on the water with Adrian and his mates to let the brash billionaire regale us with what happened when he first came upon his very clever idea of a giveaway.
I got hit up straight away by the Gaming Commission and they're like, you can't just go and raffle a car. I could have thrown it all in. I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, for the last 10 minutes, I'm like, what happens if I just gave the car away to one of my members? It's not a loophole, but it's a legal way to give away a car.
Whether Adrian Portelli is running his business legally is really neither here nor there, because it seems to me that Portelli's riches have little to do with discounts and rewards and everything to do with enticing punters into handing over money for a prize they're unlikely to win. The real shame is that Seven and the rest of the media knows this too, but has chosen to play along, endorsing Portelli's Robin Hood fairy tale and giving his lucrative and, in South Australia, criminal operation the oxygen it so desperately needs. And now to the latest last gasp attempt by Australia's media industry to sandbag its stronghold against the internet's colonial powers.
New pressure is piling on global tech titans to pay for Australian news content.
That announcement of a proposed new tax on America's social media giants, the benefits to be dispersed to local media companies, according to the number of journos they employ, was the result of a sustained lobbying campaign by Australia's largest publishers, nostalgic for the staggering revenues and market dominance they once enjoyed. The government now making social media giants an offer they can't refuse.
Under the changes, tech companies Google, Meta and TikTok will have to pay an extra 2.25% tax on their revenue in Australia, which the government will hand over to news outlets. The scheme could raise $250 million a year, but tech giants can lower their bill if they strike direct deals with local media companies.
Yes, play nice or pay through the nose. Last year, more than 11 billion Australian advertising dollars flowed into the hands of Google and Meta, which is why you may be unsurprised to learn the Goliaths of Australian media were among those not in any way unhappy with Anthony Albanese's proclamation.
If digital platforms fail to pay for the use of the news content from which they profit, then journalism becomes unsustainable. All platforms need to step up.
Nothing like the promise of plunder to bring the family together, especially after the evaporation of billions of dollars from the value of Australia's major news companies and the culling of thousands of journalists in this country, 1/5 of them between 2011 and 2021. That very same year, Meta announced it would rebuff the first iteration of the so-called Media Bargaining Code, deciding instead to simply deny its users journalism from Australia, which went swimmingly.
The social media giant began shutting down Australian access to the pages of major news sites, but then broadened the net to include the Weather Bureau, Fire and Rescue and Health Services.
The Kids Cancer Project have been blocked.
Prompting a fleet of foot treasurer to water down his demands, get Zuckerberg back to the table and see Meta offer up a generous $70 million, or 0.6% of its revenue that year, to help bankroll Australian journalism, including this investigation into Queensland Police, the reopening of News Corp's cadet program, and this remote trip into the Gibson Desert by the ABC to report on a landmark native title decision. But in February 2024, Meta again decided it wasn't interested in funding any more Australian news, prodding the toe cutters to go to work. 150 jobs gone at Seven, 35 at Australian Community Media and 200 at Nine. So how did the tech giants respond to last week's attempt to make them share? Well, about how you'd expect.
Meta calling today's announcement a government-mandated transfer of wealth from one industry to another. From Google, we reject the need for this tax.
And while the bill seems designed to force tech giants to pay up, what if they play hardball, use their leverage and block Australian news outlets? Well, there'd be more of this fine journalism.
Breaking!
Pauline Hanson's secret wedding at 71.
Pauline Hanson and Mark Latham just shocked millions with an unexpected announcement.
Double the magic. Twins.
Now we wait to see how the tariff-loving Trump might respond. We at Media Watch are singing Kumbaya and joining hands with Australia's media tycoons in wanting assurance for the future of Australian journalism. And we hope this new bill actually does what it says on the box. But we should all keep one eye on where the money actually flows, if it does. Because if there's anything our corporate overlords love more than a scoop, it's a tidy little dividend. And now we turn to the other and often graver threat bearing down on journalists in so many corners of the world.
A news cruise narrowly avoided being hit during an Israeli airstrike in Lebanon. A missile exploded just metres from where they were broadcasting live.
Last week's release of the latest Press Freedom Index describes pressure unprecedented since its creation on the world's media workers in the Middle East and in Ukraine. While across the world, reporters are being prosecuted in Hong Kong, the Philippines and Burundi. Vladimir Putin's mafia state perfecting the art.
48 journalists in Russia were detained, and everyone trying to keep reporting independently has been forced into exile.
Reporters Without Borders says its measure of press freedom has now spiralled to its lowest point in 25 years.
Over half of the world's countries now fall into the difficult or very serious categories for press freedom.
China, ranked 178 of 180 countries, remains the most enthusiastic jailer of journalists in the world. Zhang Jian, who reported on the outbreak of COVID among them, convicted for a second time in September for picking quarrels. Armed conflict responsible for much of the deterioration. Gaza, the deadliest place for journalists anywhere in the world. 29 killed there last year, and a warning this next piece of footage is confronting.
Masri's final broadcast captured the view across Khan Yunis from an external stairwell at the hospital when the Israeli strike hit. A second Israeli strike minutes later killed 19 others.
Israel has also been accused of killing 8 journalists in just 7 weeks in its campaign in Lebanon, most recently Lebanese reporter Amal Khalil. Languishing near the bottom of the list, Iran, where the media has been largely shuttered or blackjacked into printing propaganda. Also worth noting, the state of press freedom in the land of the free, slipping 7 places. And that was before this hoo-ha just last week.
Pressure is mounting for ABC and Disney after an unprecedented move by the FCC, ordering all 8 Disney-owned local stations to file early license renewals, years before their expiration.
Behind the regulatory pressure, a First Lady rather miffed with this off-colour joke made 3 days before the assassination attempt on her husband.
Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
Yes, Jimmy Kimmel might not stand quite at its vanguard, but a free press remains our best and sometimes only defence against the worst impulses of power and corruption and war. Which is also why, social media tax or not, we've simply got to find a way to pay for it. And that's all from us tonight. Be sure to check us out on ABC iView as well as YouTube and Facebook. You can find full statements on our website. And don't forget to send us your tips. See you next week.